What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. Welcome back to another one of our Kentucky Derby updates. We got a lot to talk about. Some good, some bad, some in between. So we'll get right to it right now, and we'll kind of recap what happened last week. We actually had sort of 4 Kentucky Derby prep races. They really fell apart. Let's just go through them one by one. The main headliner of the weekend was the Fountain of Youth, right? And when it drew, we had 8 horses in it, and it's like, okay, that's pretty exciting. Well, one of them ran an allowance, which left us with 7 in the race, and so it's still it's exciting. It's going to be fun, and then it just fell apart from there. 2 more scratched the day of the race. I should say there were 9 horses in it. Then it was 8. Then it was 6. Two scratched the day of the race, including contenders, Victory Avenue and Locked. And then we still get a door knock versus Speakeasy, maybe kind of a battle there. Speakeasy throws the jockey, cuts himself on the rail. He's scratched. Down to a field of 5. It's door knock and 4 horses that just they looked overmatched on paper. Not saying they're not going to be good or anything, but they just looked overmatched. I don't really know what you could take from it. Door knock won, so give him credit. I mean, winning the Fountain of Youth, no matter what, is always big, and he should move forward off of it. But he still kind of had his old problems, right? I mean, kind of green, didn't really switch leads until late in the stretch, didn't really, dominate a bunch of horses he probably should dominate. Maybe he'll improve next out. I think it would be foolish to say there's no doubt he's going to improve next out, because we've seen him a lot and he kind of is what he is. But it's also foolish on the other side to say, well, there's no chance he's going to improve, because it will be a second race as a 3-year-old, going a little bit longer might help him. So I'm still squarely on the fence with him. But anyway, he does get the job done. There was a really nice race up at Aqueduct. The Gotham Stakes had a field of 11 after scratches. And look, I mean, you can say what you want. Maybe it's not a great Kentucky Derby prep race, but at least it was a solid race on paper to handicap and wager on. Deterministic ends up winning it fairly easily. A very, very nice victory for this horse. First time we'd seen him since August. The track at Aqueduct was absolutely atrocious. It was pouring down rain. It was awful. You kind of worry. It's like, man, coming off this layoff, this track like it is, maybe he's going to struggle. He did the opposite. He ran fantastic. I thought this was a very good race. I really have no idea how serious of a contender he is at this point, as with every horse we're going to talk about. However, he put himself in the ballpark, and if he can go do that again in the Wood Memorial, who's to say he can't win it? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to do that, to be clear, but he showed enough talent to go, okay, he fits in with the crop that we have right now that's aiming for the Derby. So deterministic, very good race there. We also had the John Battaglia Memorial at Turfway. It was over the synthetic surface. Encino gets the job done for Brad Cox. And listen, Encino ran a very good race. It was kind of a stretch battle between him and the favorite, Epic Ride. And Encino gets the job done, kind of eases past at the end. I thought it was really good. I don't know if he can run on the dirt. We've got 3 races that have all come at Turfway, so we'll find out about the dirt. That's a question for another day, and maybe a question for Kentucky Derby Day, because I'd say he's going to the Jeff Ruby next. But I thought this was a strong race. This horse is getting better and better. Each start has been better than the last. So, he's up there in the mix too. I look at him kind of like I look at Deterministic, where, hey, that was good enough to throw your name in the hat, and then we'll kind of see what happens from here. So, by the way, Deterministic, I put at number 10. Encino, I put at number 13 this week. I'm going to read the top 5. There's never a year ever where the rankings have met less than they do right now. I have no idea who to rank 1 and who to rank 20. And that's the honest God truth. I was talking to somebody the other day. I said, look, really what it's going to come down to, March 23rd through April 6th, that's when all the 100-point races are going to be run. That's when I'm going to know. And I've never went into a 3-week stretch like that, having no clue who I want to even think about betting in the Kentucky Derby until this year. And maybe some years it's always, there's questions to be answered, but you at least go into that stretch, whether you're right or wrong about it coming out of it, but you at least go into that stretch going, okay, I like 3 or 4 horses. Let's see what they do. And now we've got a horse. Forget about it this year. Anyway, we also ran a race called the San Felipe, which was a field of 5, then scratched down to 4 after Niso scratched out of it. And then Bob Baffert still ran 1-2 with his other 2 horses. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the 2 horses because it doesn't matter for this video. The 2 horses that could earn points, one was like 4 or 5 lengths back, and one was like, got spooked and just didn't run well at all and was way, way back, galloped, but, out maybe 20 behind. So nothing to talk about there. It wasn't really a real Kentucky Derby prep race. When we talk about the Preakness, maybe we'll talk about a couple of those horses. All right, let's get to the top 5. At number 5, I put Dornoch here at number 5. I kind of moved him down after that race. I don't know. It really wasn't what I was looking for. I didn't think it was a very good race, to be completely honest. But look, like I just said, whether I rank him 5 or I rank him 105, it really doesn't matter at this point. None of these horses have really answered any questions up to this point. So I put him at number 5. He easily could be my Kentucky Derby pick if he, grows up in the Bluegrass or Florida Derby, wherever he goes. If he grows up and runs a great race, was like, okay, yeah, he's number 1, great. But as of right now, from what I've seen on the track and not really thinking he's going to improve or not improve one way or the other, I think he's about at number 5. Number 4 is Mystic Dan. This horse could be 104 after the Arkansas Derby. I mean, he absolutely freaked in the Southwest on the slop. I have no idea if he can do that again. We're going to get to see him try it in the Arkansas Derby. And quite honestly, if he does the same thing he did in the Southwest and the Arkansas Derby, he might be my pick to win. But as of right now, I don't have a ton of confidence that that's going to happen, but who knows? It might. So I've got him at number 4. Catching Freedom, number 3 for me. He was 3rd in the Risen Star. He's another one. I think if he grows up a little bit, I think they can fix some of his problems. He's going to be fine, but can they do it, right? Like that's a couple of races in a row where he's just not ran, straight in the stretch. In the Smarty Jones, he was good enough to get it done because he was just better than those horses. But in the Risen Star, when he faced better horses, he couldn't beat them. So he's at number 3. Number 2 is Track Phantom. I think he's the most professional. I think he's the one that's going to get, the best trip in the Derby out of some of these main contenders. But I'm not sure that he's that good. And I think that's where the problem kind of lies, right? I mean, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. But really, it's like, okay, in the Risen Star, you probably should have won, right? I mean, he set fractions that were pretty mild. He got a great trip, and he couldn't hold off Sierra Leone. Now, it could be Sierra Leone is just great, or it could mean Track Phantom's not that great. We'll just have to see. It's another one. If he goes to the Louisiana Derby and he dominates that race, maybe he's back to number 1. So we'll see what happens there. And then finally at number 1, Sierra Leone. We'll see him in the Bluegrass next. We'll see what happens here with him. I like him. I do like him a lot. I think he's progressing. I think he is another one like Dornoch that could get better, but we'll see if he does actually get better in his next start. But he's number 1 for now. I think the trip could be a big problem for him, but I mean, he is who he is. And so that's just a decision we're going to have to make after that final rounds of preps. All right. So we have the Tampa Bay Derby this weekend. That is a 50-point race. We don't have the entries out yet. The probables have kind of been all over the place. So not a whole lot to preview other than I'll just say any race that is a Kentucky Derby prep race right now really means something. It really matters because it's so wide open. So we could see something in Tampa. We'll just have to keep our eye on it. So we will be back next week to kind of recap the Tampa Bay Derby, update the top 5 list, and then look ahead to what's coming up. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for watching this Kentucky Derby update. Just a lot of me talking in circles this week, trying to tell you I have no idea, but I'll give you update and I'll kind of give you the current landscape of what's going on. All right, everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alert anytime we do updates like this. And we'll see you back here next week for a new top 5 and a new Kentucky Derby update.